I guess like I was thinking about the question I was asking you about because I did the pre-trip. The new test is more streamlined. It doesn't you don't have to really like with the trailer itself for the CDLA, you don't
Uh-huh.
have to explain anything on it. Like you know how you have to
What?
like repeat yourself with the rear drive axle, suspension, and
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. And the driver's side and the passenger side.
Yeah, so all that is eliminated. Really, you have to just talk about the front of the trailer. What is it called? The nose board.
Bulkhead.
Uh, yeah, the DOT stickers. Make sure they're covering more than 50% of the truck, and that all proper lights are not cracked, damaged, or broken, or anything like that. And like when I went to actually do it in the motor vehicles, they gave me a checklist that is now in the motor vehicle books. So
Uh-huh.
you can use that checklist.
To go around
And
and do your pre-trip.
yeah, so I didn't
So
even
you
do
can
it.
so are you saying you can basically have notes with you right there as you're doing your pre-trip now?
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
like they yeah. I was like,
That's crazy.
because they were telling some of the like guys that have worked that have their CDL for a long time. They were telling me like all the stuff they had to go through, whatever, and I was prepping for that for the test. And
So you
then
was
like
memorizing all of that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then out of nowhere they just they told me that they got basically the checklist down. They're doing things differently. So I was like one of the new guys that's basically for that school. The trainers never seen the test before or anything. So I was like one of the guys where they're going into that new way of doing things. They didn't have experience that they can possibly tell me about how the test is gonna be or anything.
Uh-huh.
They just got like I guess like a summary of it.
Uh-huh.
So when I actually went for my I did the pre-trip and it was like since it's more streamlined, it was like really good. Like it was I passed it. Thankfully, I didn't even have to go to the trailer part. I just did the really talked about the coolant, the pitman arm, tie rod, drag length, and the tires.
So let me get this straight before you continue. I want to hear what else you got to say, but let me get this straight. On your pre-trip now, you still got to point out all the stuff on the front of the truck. You still got to point out the stuff on the driver's side and the passenger side of the engine bay. You still got to, you still got to identify or point out the parts on the driver's side of the truck, I would assume. Make sure everything is secured and attached to the vehicle. You still got to cover the hoses, the air hoses and the electrical lines on the back of the truck, the catwalk. You still got to identify all of that stuff. You still got to go through the drive axle of the truck and identify the airbags and the brake. Do you have to, because like, okay, so you don't have to, you're doing the brake components on the steer axle, the front axle.
Exactly,
you don't have to go through the brake components anymore on the drive axle of the truck no more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And so many parts that before you had to name is like half of them got eliminated. Like it's really like they're really the pre-trip, they're really trying to help people out with that, I would say.
So essentially you don't have to repeat anything. Once you cover a part on one part of the truck, when you run across that same part again on another part of the truck or the trailer, you don't have to cover that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the shock absorbers, you wouldn't repeat it again. Any other part
One
of the
axle
truck.
is fine. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
You do have to mention the tires and the
tread depth and all of that. Yeah.
Front tires. Basically, what the guy told me, he was like, tell me 3 things about each component, and then I'll give you credit for whatever part that I said. Right. So I just did the truck part. After I finished the coupling part, he was like, don't even worry about trailer. He was like, we could just do the pre-trip after that. So I was like, all right, cool.
But you did have to cover the front of the trailer, you said.
Yeah. So when I was talking to the trainer, he said the nose board, the DOT lights, clearance lights, ABS lights on the side, and the braking lights of the trailer. That's really all they're gonna ask.
They ain't ask nothing about the landing gear components?
Oh, and the landing gear.
Gotcha.
How to properly use the landing gear, how to properly raise up the landing gear and make sure that it's properly secured.
Gotcha.
But other than that, is like, and what do you call it? The fifth wheel and how it connects and stuff
I
like
was
that.
wondering about that. Yeah, I would imagine they would ask you about that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, when I go take my other test, I was looking around to see if I had the page of the list, the checklist, but I can send that to you so you can check it out.
Cool. That, yeah,
It's
I would
like,
love to see that if you find it. Yeah.
yeah. So he told me for each component just say 3 things, and he'll give me the point for that. So for the Pippin arm, I was like, wasn't welded, it was properly lubricated, and no cracks, visible damage, stuff like that. And I just kept repeating that for every metal part.
Mm-hmm.
And for the tires, I just no tread separation, no fiber showing, 100 psi's, and just kept trying to just basically find stuff like that. But it's like really all I mentioned was the steering components, the knuckle, steering column, power steering, and side rods, drag link. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started talking about the rims. So it was like a whole bunch of other parts they're really not asking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wonder
But
if it's
it's
like,
actually,
and you're in Jersey, right?
yeah.
I wonder if it's like that here in Virginia. I know the test has changed all over, but I wonder if they've relaxed, you know what I mean, what they're
Yeah.
asking for that much here in Virginia as well.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good question because I wonder if it's uniform across the whole United States, right?
Mm-hmm. It's probably not. States issue driver's licenses, so they may be doing it one way in Virginia, and they may be a little bit tighter in New Jersey or looser in New Jersey. There's federal standards that need to be applied. The states is what handle licensing issues. So, but yeah, I know the test has changed. I've heard that from generally speaking from people all over the country. So. But I was thinking that from what people were saying, it was going to get more difficult. You're saying the pre-trip got easier. That's good.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it feels like they're really just trying to help people through the pre-trip to pass that portion. I think
Gotcha.
that checklist helped out a lot. And
Yeah, I would imagine.
yeah, and stuff that I was just like practicing, all the components for the steering column got reduced by at least like 40%. Like a whole bunch of stuff that I had to just memorizing before. They just leaf springs, yeah, but like not so much in the detail like it was before.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask about that checklist. I'm gonna ask other people in other states. Are they letting y'all walk around with a checklist now, man? That's a man, because the pre-trip was one of the biggest sticklers. That was one of the things that people had the most problem with, memorizing all of those different things that had to be memorized in the pre-trip. And it totally doesn't make sense to have a person keep repeating stuff over and over and over and over again. They're repeating it for every axle. And it just takes longer to do the pre-trip as well that way. It's unnecessary. Yeah. So it makes sense, that you would relax some of those things, but letting people actually walk around with a cheat sheet, with a list, a checklist. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
I
good.
want to find out about that.
Yeah, man. There was a guy that was there. He failed his first parking exam, but that was when it was the different exam. And so when he got back, he was like, that was like the worst case scenario. He went before. Nobody actually told him though. Nobody called him and said, hey, this is a new test with new maneuvers and everything. So he was used to the old school way of the test, where it's like the offset backing, right, and all that stuff. And he went back and he didn't know what was going on, and he failed the test, and he just like threw a fit there. And I think it was like, it's kind of messed up. Somebody should have called him, told him, what was going on.
Yeah. So the pre-trip got easier, but the other parts got more difficult.
I feel like the way the guy was telling me, is like really nobody told him what was going, like the new qualifications for the parking test. So the parking portion now is you drive straight in a straight line forward, and you have to park the front bumper inside a 3-foot zone, a 3-foot square, 3-foot rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it sounds like the purpose of that test is to make sure the driver knows where the front of his truck is when he stops. Is that the purpose of that
yeah,
test? Got
exactly,
you.
yeah. And so that one right there is 5 points right off the bat. If then you only get one chance, you can't. There's one stop. You can't like double stop or inch forward or anything like that.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
You need to know where the front of your truck is at. Makes sense. So they doing that one. They doing a straight forward, just like they did a straight back. They doing a straight forward now. Okay. What
yeah,
else? What else?
Yeah. So after the straight forward into the park into that 3 foot rectangle, you have to go all the way forward to get out of the cone zone, and then is a straight backing.
Got
You have
you.
to go all the way through all the cones without hitting any of the cones or anything like that. After that is the forward offset, which is like basically like going through the cones and pulling out, like if you were parallel park and you're trying to like pull it out into the street, into the road. And then which is basically mirrors like the reverse offset, which is like trying to parallel park it.
Back it up. So it's same thing. Like you pulling into the truck stop and you about to park along the curb, and it's a truck here and a truck here, and you want to pull in between those two, but you're pulling forward to do it, basically.
More like parallel parking,
but
like
forward.
on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Like
It's
with a regular car. With a regular car.
Yeah, I understand that. But instead of backing in, you pulling in.
Yeah.
And they're still doing the reverse parallel parking too, right?
Yes. Yep.
Now that forward parallel, are you doing it driver side and blind side or passenger side? Are you doing both or just one?
No, so you're gonna pull the truck out to the left to your driver's side.
Okay.
So that's the forward offset.
Okay.
There's about, I think, 3. No, wait, was it? I have to get the exact number, but it's like a 2 foot area from the cone. There's a stripe on the floor. You have to put your tire between that stripe and the cone.
Okay.
The back of the trailer, passenger side, rear tire has to go between that stripe and the cone.
Gotcha.
And so yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's the forward offset. After you pull the truck out, the trailer has to actually follow closely by the cones, and that rear wheel has to go between the stripe and the cone.
Okay. All right. So again, that's Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll try to get some like diagrams and like some more like references. I was trying to find some good references and stuff like that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So you could visualize it better. You know what I mean?
And you're only doing that to one side. You're not doing it to both sides.
Nah, it's only one side. From the driver's side, you're pulling the truck and trailer left out, and then the passenger side, the rear wheel is gonna go between the stripe of the floor and the cone, the predetermined cone they have there.
Gotcha. So you're doing the forward stop and the straight back, and then you go into the forward offset.
Yeah.
And then what comes next after that?
After that forward offset, then you'll pull up, try to straighten your truck, which is where I was having trouble at straightening the truck. I was actually talking with the trainers and stuff like that, and they gave me some advice and stuff like that. But
did it help?
Not really. I think what I'm having issues with is like in short spaces being able to straighten out the truck and make it parallel to like the sidewalk or whatever in short spaces without like going reverse and forward trying to straighten out the truck. And one thing I said, like sometimes I feel like this company was all about the money, like not to say the guys weren't bad, you know, yeah, they were helping me and stuff like that, but like for example, like I think a good school will show you how to actually attach a trailer to the truck, right? That'll be like common sense. Like if I was school, that's what I would do. You know, I would teach the students how to do that basic maneuver. They didn't even show me that. So I was telling the guy, I was like, hey, you guys not gonna show me how to attach the truck to the trailer? And he was like, oh nah, we don't do that here. We just really just worried about the CDL, like all anything with CDL related. But he was like, I'll show you anyways. Like, so he showed me how to do it and stuff like that. But like that's just an example, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't show me that. I don't recall them showing us how to couple and uncouple in CDL school either. They had the trailer attached the whole time.
Oh yeah. I actually told them if they could take out the trailer because I wanted to fill the truck without the trailer, the truck with the trailer, just to see the difference and just drive around with it just to get used to it. Yeah. So, and like just to drive in an automatic, I want to drive an automatic just to worry just about the handling for a while. And when I failed the first test, I was like, I just want to get on the road quick. I told them, I have an automatic I could use just to do the test real quick. And they were like, oh, yeah, but it's extra $400 bucks on top. So I was like, damn,
just to use the automatic. Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I would look at the Keurig machine, I'd be like, damn, I don't know if they're gonna charge me if I try to get a little bit of coffee there. But nah, yeah, it felt like that, but it's all right. But on the other hand, the guys, the trainers and everybody, they're really supportive. They really, you know.
So after that forward offset, did you go into the backwards offset after that?
Yeah, so that's the part where I was having trouble with. But yeah, so after you do the forward offset, you straighten the truck, and then you'll do the reverse offset to the passenger side. But where I was having trouble is in that small space. Well, after you do forward offset, they said do the forward offset, then go forward parallel to the driver's side green cones that's gonna be outside on the driver's test. There's like a whole bunch of cones to the driver's side. And so you just got to be parallel to that. But while I was reversing, trying to straighten the truck, I was just like going forward, doing like micro turns and stuff like that. But I got the truck straightened, but it was like not parallel to the sidewalk, so it wouldn't be ideal for starting point, which is, I think that'd be a good topic. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You wasn't setting it up right, and the setup is important when you backing up. I sound like that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, man.
Yeah, the setup is the most important when you backing up.
Yeah, so that's what was happening, and I felt like it was a limited space to try to get the truck.
Sounds like it. It sounds like a tight space that you was in, or that you gotta keep it in.
Yeah. So from there, since the setup was off, I was just like,
yeah, it ain't nothing else gonna be right if the setup is off. If you start off wrong, yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. The tires hit the lines in the back, the cones in the back, and everything. I got a point for that. And so then I pulled up, tried to reset myself again, but once again I couldn't. It's like I want to get it down to a science, you know, how to perfectly straighten the truck to exactly where I want it at the proper angle to the curb, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like if I want it any angle, but at least the truck is straightened out. I want to master that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. Backing up a truck, you know what I mean? It's something you just got to do it over and 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 over again, you know? Repetition is pretty much the only thing that I would say that's going to help a driver with, you know, backing up a truck. I mean, there's people out here right now that have a CDL that have been on the road for a while now that have a problem backing up. A lot of OTR drivers will tell you they have a problem backing up because that's not what they're doing all day. Local drivers are backing in the docks all day, or backing up the truck more. So, you know, I back up every day, but I don't back up to docks, and I don't have to back into weird positions, you know. So, I mean, I never had a problem with backing up, but drivers have CDLs and have problems with backing up. You know, 2-3 years after they've been out here driving, they still have a problem with backing up. So it's one of those things that you just got to do it repeatedly, and eventually, you know what I mean? If you keep having to do it, eventually you got no choice but to get better. you know. And the biggest thing is once you get out on the road with backing up, it don't matter how many times you got to pull up, how many times you got to get out and look. Don't none of that matter when you're out on the road. If you got to get out and look 13 times, then you know what I mean, you need to be okay with doing that. If you got to pull up 13 times, then fine, just pull up 13 times, you know. So, but eventually you'll get it if you keep on doing it. You definitely will.
All right, cool. Thank you, man.